This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're here at the Redemption Weigh-In and we're delighted we finally joined with Tiernan Bradley. How are you, Tiernan?
How's it going? All good?
Irish debut tomorrow night. It's a long time sort of coming. You're obviously 5-0 as a pro so far, but I think you sort of said during the week it feels like your debut again.
Yeah, it's more the excitement than anything. Fighting abroad. I've been fighting abroad all my career, even as an amateur. Like the only time that I did fight at home, I was in the National Stadium, but I didn't expect all my mates to come down to the National Stadium when they were teenagers or when they were 18 or 19 when they had no money to watch me fight. And then when I turned pro, it was no different. I fought Poland, Spain, Belgium. I still had no support, even though I had a little bit of support from my teammates that was fighting over there. And then even Callum came over to Belgium to see me fight. So it's just the nerves all over again from my pro debut, fighting now in Ireland in front of people who haven't seen me fight. And in all my career, I haven't, maybe on a, it's much different, as you know, fighting, on TV than seeing it in real life. So I think it's going to be really entertaining for them, and I think it'll bring a bit of hype as well around my fan base that is here in Ireland, and that haven't got to see me fight.
I think sort of for ourselves as well. I've always said, that I always said to you, when are you going to get a fight at home? Because I can't wait to, as you say, there's only so much you can watch on the TV, and you can sort of get an idea. And obviously, you're regarded as obviously a sort of blue chip prospect that sort of can go all the way in the sport. And when only you can see so much on TV, you have to see it in person. It's like watching football. If you're an armchair fan, you have to get there and get the buzz of it and see exactly what it's like in person. But I'm sure it's going to be strange for you tomorrow night, obviously having fans shouting your name and things. You're going, how do these people know me? All right, I'm fighting in Belfast.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Like, even as you says there, people haven't really seen much of me since I've turned over, but and they've seen me as a blue chip prospect. But at the same time, like, some of that hype has kind of gone to the side because I haven't fought at home. People, as soon as I turned pro, people were talking about me left, right, and centre, and they were almost thinking, why is this hype around this fella? When I haven't seen him fight. He hasn't really fought in them big shows. He's fought abroad. Like, he can't be that good if he hasn't fighting on New Ulster Hall, if he hasn't fought in the Fela, if he hasn't fought on Sky Sports. I'm sitting here thinking, some of the best fighters haven't really made it until they were nearly 18, 19 and 20. For instance, Joe Kazagi had 21 fights, 19 KOs at one stage before he was able to fight anywhere. But he's fighting in small hall shows. He's fighting somewhere in England all of his life up until 21-0. But then as soon as that happens, like, bang, his whole career just came out. But he took it slow. He built himself up on these small hall shows, and was just climbing the rankings. I'm ahead of a lot of people in the rankings here in Ireland and the UK, and even though people haven't seen me fight, so I'm sitting here thinking, just will you wait and see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And obviously, with you having, I know in box record only shows us 4, because obviously I think there was an issue with the Poland card because of 2 commissions. Yeah. They won't still register, obviously, that.
One, the governing body in Poland, the new governing body, so it was in September it was the governing body we used, and in October it was like a whole different governing body, but the governing body that we used was still issued by the EBU to still control over professional fights in Poland, whereas the new board that started, the man who started it was a BoxRec editor and refused to put the other fights on BoxRec. So BoxRec doesn't really matter. It's really like a ranking keeping company, a fight keeping company. But if you check all the other ones like Sherdog and stuff, it's up as 5-0. So BoxRec, get on that, get it sorted, kick that fella out as an editor in Poland, and get somebody proper in. Like,
I think anybody that obviously really knows us, followed your career, obviously knows you're 5-0. It's sort of, the occasional time where you see somebody put up a post, they say a result, and you're sniggling to yourself going, you're not remembering the real record sort of thing. And I guess sometimes people can get stuck in that sort of laziness sort of approach to go, oh, remember the debut sort of thing. But obviously you being 5-0 and obviously fighting now at home for the first time, it sort of prepared you well for this sort of occasion. What can sort of people expect from you tomorrow night that haven't seen you box before?
Yeah, well, they're going to expect. Well, they've seen me on my social medias and anything that I've posted. All they've seen is the knockouts. They haven't seen the flair, the entertaining side of things. I like to kind of ease into a fight, show off a little bit of head movement, show off a bit of movement, and then go to town, figure my opponent out, and then just whenever I see the opening, just go for the knockout. And usually it does. It's not like this didn't happen or that punch didn't happen for the knockout. It's usually the first punch that I land is always the knockout. So I'll predict that it'll probably be the exact same thing tomorrow night. It'll be play about one for a few rounds, entertain the crowd, and then take them out of there so people can get out and get drinking somewhere after 10, 11 o'clock, and have a good night. So yeah.
And obviously main event tomorrow night as well. Like, and probably when you were put onto the show, you were probably going, "Oh, happy days," and getting a fight at home. But obviously we've seen the running order now, and you're going to be main event tomorrow night, so you're going to the last fight on.
I'm on last fight, but the main event is Eric. You know what I mean? I said to Eric when I first met him and I got tickets at him. Turned around and says it's an absolute honour to be on your undercard, because after seeing Eric, me growing up on the amateur side of things, Eric was somebody who you looked up to. He was always a role model, especially he shows it now as a professional. Some of the losses he's taken, but he's got back on the ladder and just kept going. He's talking about the last 3 fights now, and but like Eric's the type of fella where you never know. Like another opportunity may arise for him in the near future, and he'll take it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he came out the winning side of it. He's just one of them guys, and it's just an honour to be on his. I know I'm on after him, but it's an honour to be on his undercard. I know he's the main event.
As well, Tiernan, thanks very much for catching up with us. I'm sure we'll get a chat with you tomorrow night once you've moved to 6-0.
Exactly, and maybe a little bit more refueled.
Definitely. Cheers, Tiernan. Thank you.
Cheers.